Hello and welcome back to TLC Unfiltered. My name's Emmanuel Sonubi.
And my name's Ian Murphy.
Hey Ian, heard the one about identity theft?
I haven't, Manny, but our guest today, Bennett Arron, is just the right person to tell us about it.
Thank you very much, and thank you for having me on the show.
Today we will be talking about humanity and humour in tech. Quite a weird subject for something that's based on something so robotic. How do we start on something? Tell us a tech joke. Tell us a tech joke.
Oh, you're asking a comedian to tell you a joke?
Yeah.
Okay, about tech.
Yeah.
Why are flight attendants called flight attendants, not cloud-based servers?
I see. Yes.
I'm not gonna lie, that was so worth it.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Oh, factual as well.
Yeah, it's quite clever, wasn't it?
There is a lot of humour when it comes to the tech world. I remember when I first started. I lied on my CV. The first job that I ever had in tech was a sales job, and it was a company. Do you remember when the MCSC started? No.
Microsoft.
Yeah, the
stuff.
Microsoft certification.
Yeah.
So when that came out, I worked at a place where we sold the courses. So my job was to sell that course to prospective students coming into the building. So I lied. I lied so hard on that CV that they gave me the job. Wow. And I ruined it in the first hour of having that job, of walking around, and I was like, I know sales. And I'd basically memorized everything. So I didn't know the answers, I just knew the answer to that word that you just said. So we're walking around this campus, and we've got to the web design part. And one of the this is when my manager knew that I was lying, because one of the students said to me, "What language do they teach this in?" And I thought, what a stupid question. What kind of moron? I was like, why is he even here? I was like, English, you fool. And the look that everyone gave me, and I just carried on. I was like, well, they must be in shock because they think he's as much of an idiot as I do. And it was about 5 minutes after that they let me go. I lasted there for an hour and 12 minutes.
Wow. That was one of your most successful gigs,
wasn't it? That was one of my most successful jobs, yeah.
Out of curiosity, what language was it?
So Java.
Right, which isn't English.
No.
Right. It's a coffee.
It's like Klingon.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a coffee,
Klingon.
essentially. So from your background, and just to introduce you to the people, you were one of the first victims of identity fraud here in the UK way back when. It was 2000, wasn't it?
No, 98.
98, so a little bit before that.
Yeah.
Just give us a potted history of that, because it's such a wonderful story.
Yeah, so 98, I was buying a house. That was the plan. Got a mortgage and everything was going fine. And then suddenly I had a letter from the bank manager saying, we're stopping your mortgage because we've discovered your outstanding debts. Didn't think they meant they were, proud about them. And I thought, well, this can't be me. I've never been in debt, never owed money to anybody. Always paid off credit card bills, whenever I could. Even as a child, always paid off my monthly contributions to the Olivia Newton-John fan club. Even though I never received the promised lock of hair or teeth. So I knew this wasn't me. So I rang the bank manager, and this shows how long ago it was, right? I got straight through to the bank manager, right? Did not press, and he knew who I was. And I said, I've got this letter. And he went, yeah, I'm aware of it. He said, you've got a good reputation in the bank. I don't know what's going on. Anyway, cut a long story short, somebody had opened accounts in my names with home shopping companies and banks and mobile phone companies, thousands, gave me a 0 credit rating, and I couldn't do anything and ended up being penniless and homeless and having to move in with my parents. So that it wasn't much fun. And then, years later, I found out that I was one of the first major victims of the crime. The problem was nobody believed me.
Well, it
Nobody
wasn't a
believed
thing then, wasn't it?
It wasn't a thing.
It
So
wasn't a thing.
The police thought I was lying. The companies thought that I was the scammer trying to pull a fast one, and that was the problem. So, and this was pre-internet. You probably don't remember that type of era, but there used to be a time before the internet.
He's not that young, by the way.
Shut your face.
Do not let
him believe what he wants. I was going to play along. I was like, what's that?
I could see in your eyes, you're going, oh, no.
I'm just still thinking of the millennials watching this when they go in, I bought a house. Like, what does that mean? I bought a house.
He moved back in with his parents. What do you mean you moved out?
Not only that, to get a credit report, I had to send a check. A check? Can you imagine?
Was it one of those big ones
Yeah,
that
yeah.
you could pay cash?
So it was all, and it took me 2.5 years to get my name cleared, by which time the house had trebled in price, because it was the right time to buy a house, and then it wasn't, and still isn't. So, yeah, all in all, not much fun.
Unbelievable. But the weird thing is, because you then did a Channel 4 documentary about it, didn't you?
Yeah, so I'd been a comedian for 2 years prior. In fact, this year is my 25th anniversary of being a professional comedian. Thank you very
Happy
much.
25th anniversary. Diamond, is it? You're a diamond comedian now? Is that
When
what
it's
that is?
comedy, it's called Laugh.
Laugh.
Fifth
Okay.
anniversary.
It's
a
your
laugh.
laugh anniversary.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm
I'm still waiting for one of those.
Yeah, but you've got another 25 years
Good.
ahead of you.
Yeah, thank you.
So I'd been a comedian a little bit before this happened, and then I decided, because of what happened, probably for, I don't know, cathartic reasons, to help other people, I'd write a show about it, which I did, and took to the Edinburgh Fringe Festival.
Yeah.
And it did well, and on the back of that, I was asked to be the guest speaker at an international fraud convention in Poland. You dreamt it, mate. I've done it. And then I was approached by Channel 4 and asked to make a documentary on the subject, which I did, and in which I did a couple of things, one of which was to steal the identity of the Home Secretary.
You stole his identity.
Yeah. I don't recommend doing that.
I was about to say,
Yeah, it's a really stupid thing to do. I know now. At the time,
how did you do it?
I applied for a birth certificate, and then with that applied for a driving license. Yeah.
See, speaking as a Nigerian, I'm like, you took a long time to do that. I'd have sent him an email.
I was learning as I went along. But because of what I did, the driving license forms had to be all chucked and redone. So it now says a birth certificate is no longer proof of identity. And that's because of what I did. So I've made a difference to the world. Just the UK, but it doesn't matter.
But if only you could have saved that and then maybe stolen Priti Patel's identity, that would have been much better.
It's all very well telling me this now, isn't it? I was thinking on my feet, mate. I didn't study
Who's
this.
the Home Secretary then, by the way?
Charles Clarke.
Again, nobody knows who that is, do they?
Well,
to be quite honest.
now, he
Probably
was-
because you've got his
That
identity.
I don't actually know who that is.
No.
Yeah, do you remember Tony Blair?
Yes.
It wasn't him.
Right.
Correct.
Okay.
But Charles Clarke was the Home Secretary when Tony Blair was around.
Right. Okay.
And Andy Burnham, do you know Andy Burnham?
Yeah.
I mean, do you know him personally? Or?
No.
Oh, okay.
No. What, because he's from the north?
Yeah, I just
Is that how that
assumed
works?
you all know each other. Do you know?
Yeah, generally. I'm going to pull up. Max Boyce, you know Max?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
He
you
was
do.
in the last Welsh meeting group.
Oggy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Keep saying that.
Got it.
Shut up, Max. Just sit down. I thought you'd said you'd met him. That's why I was sure you told me you'd met him once.
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
Anyway,
he's one of the only famous Northerners I haven't met, I reckon.
He says the same about you.
Yeah.
Funny enough.
Yeah.
So he was the right-hand person of the Home Secretary at the time, and I had a meeting 3 times set up with him to show him what I'd done and to show him the driving license, and he cancelled the meeting. One day I'm going to see him and remind him about this. It's in my book, How to Steal an Identity.
Have you got a book?
No, it's not called that. It's called Heard the One About Identity Theft.
Yes.
That's the name of the book. What's it called? Heard the One About Identity Theft. I don't know.
Well, I'm sorry.
Right,
I
it's
missed
called
that word.
Heard the One.
Heard the one
About identity theft.
and that's a book.
It's
that
a book.
you wrote. Is it available?
It's available.
Where could I get it?
It's
That's
a very,
the thing.
very, very good question. It's on my website, bennettarron.com, or through Amazon.
Bennett, 2 T's.
Bennett, 2 N's, 2 T's, Arron, 1 A, 2 R's.
Right.
The weirdest spelling. And that way around. Not Aaron Bennett, which what everybody thinks it is. So one day I'm going to speak. Because Andy Burnham cancelled those meetings, I eventually got arrested.
He listened to this podcast.
Can you imagine?
What was the smirk for? As if, what, you got anybody listening to this
No,
podcast?
I know there's two people. I just didn't know he was one of them.
Two of them are in this room. And it's not me or Manny.
So speaking about humour in tech, does humour have a place in tech?
Oh, I think so. Humour's got to have a place in life. Tech is so dull, right?
It can be. It can be.
We've worked and we work in an industry that goes by one name. It's like the industry formerly known as really dull, shitty, boring people is now called cyber.
Yeah.
And I think to myself, when you think of the derivation of that, and you go back to the early 90s, to cyber meant to have online relations with people, right? To, knocking one out over cam, that type of thing. It was like a precursor to pay-per-view, to OnlyFans. So it always makes me giggle. It might just be my mind. So when somebody says I'm in cyber, I'm thinking, yeah, you look like a wanker. So
That is the thing that when I see people, like, the celebrities will get in trouble, like he was caught knocking one out on a webcam, I was like, but that's what it's for.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
That's why it's so far away, because you know.
Right? He got caught.
Do you know the scam that comes around now and then, which says, "I've been watching you, and you've been looking at porn."
I have no idea what you're talking
about. Yeah. You've had that loads of times.
What you're talking
no,
about.
That's just you.
Is it?
It's just you.
Wow, I wish I hadn't brought that up now. That's really uncomfortable.
Awkward.
Yeah.
Right.
We've got some videos as well. We'll splice them in.
When we look at tech, so coming from a consultancy sales background, when it comes to humour, that was always my way of building relationships.
Yep.
And it's a way, I've always thought that humour it provides an escape from the norm, and will also, it solidifies relationships, because you think a lot of time, when we're on stage telling jokes, a lot of the time people aren't laughing at the jokes, they're laughing at what the joke reminds them of. Of when they were in that situation.
No, with me, mate. They just laugh at the jokes, really. Maybe you need to up your game a bit. I don't know. Sounds all a little bit.
I mean, who knew it would go this way?
Right,
Three,
comedy
two
roast.
2.5 comedians. Who knew it would go this way?
Comedy roast.
Oh dear.
Words hurt.
Well,
oh dear. But you're right. I think.
Glad you lost your house.
Oh dear me.
Homeless. Good.
so you can tell your mate that he did a good job. I don't know. I'm assuming it was somebody you knew.
Oh dear me.
I was thinking about
Prince Sonubi, wasn't it?
Yeah. I was actually thinking about this morning when I was walking around my detached house, and I can because it's detached. No neighbours. I just walk around the whole thing.
Nice.
In London as well.
Right.
I mean, what's that all about?
Televised. Anyway, on TV. I don't like to talk about it.
You don't like to talk about it.
Bring it up.
Don't you do it? Don't. You don't like to talk about it. You're quite humble about it.
I don't really. I never.
You
really
leave that to other people.
We don't
Yeah.
really bring it. Okay, lovely, but we don't talk about it.
Oh, no.
It's so embarrassing for everyone.
For me, growing up in the 80s in Liverpool, we had nothing. We didn't even have a house, by the way. So he's lost the house that he could have. We had nothing. We had nothing. Absolutely nothing.
It doesn't.
That wasn't the point I was getting to that. This is like a 45-minute story that I was getting to. But humour was our escape.
Yeah.
It was our escape from the bleakness of unemployment and all that type of stuff, It was, and I think it's what binds people and societies together. I think if we lose the ability to laugh at ourselves, I think we lose something massive from life.
100%, and it does become increasingly more difficult. Because on one hand, my theory is read the room, which we'll all know. You go on stage, you think, what kind of audience is this going to be? And then you will adjust what you say accordingly. Because a lot of the time, it's not what you say, it's how you say it.
Yeah.
But then I've always thought, if someone takes offence of something I've said, I'm not really ever trying to be offensive. So if you take an offence, for me, that's kind of a you problem.
Yeah.
Because I'm not trying to be offensive. That's just what you've taken from this. But what I will think to myself is there any other way that I might be able to say this where that doesn't happen? So I will take that note on, but other than that, it is kind of...
Yeah.
But then we go back to that's in a comedy club scenario, now in the workplace.
Yeah.
Where does humour sit around that? Does it make working life... Because that's the thing, again, people nowadays, because of technology, work more. Because it's not the days of you're going to go into the office at 9, leave at 5, and you can't do anything. You think now that you've always got your emails with you, you're essentially, a lot of the time, always at work. And companies know it. I mean, how many times have you had an email at 8 o'clock and you think, especially in cyber, I remember getting emails at 8 o'clock because someone had been hacked, and now we've got to deal with it. Whereas you'd love to go, 9 o'clock tomorrow, I'll look at it.
Oh, I look at them and go, is it me? No, 9 o'clock tomorrow. That'll do for me. I mean, you're talking about being professional.
Yeah.
I'm not professional at all.
Fair.
Couldn't give a shit.
But this is the question now. So do we need humour to provide that temporary escape from work?
Well, I use humour in a different way, obviously, because I do these talks about fraud and identity theft with companies, and I go around and I speak to staff at companies who are not expecting somebody to come and make them laugh. You know that they're expecting it to be quite a dull presentation because that's because the subject matter. So it usually takes it's an hour talk. It usually takes 5 to 10 minutes before they sort of tune in and go, oh, okay, so we can enjoy this. We don't have to switch off and pretend we're listening because we're getting an hour off, from our desk. And that's the way the message comes across, is because I do it in a humorous way, they remember that they laughed at something, and the thing that they laughed at is the thing that sticks in their mind.
Yeah, so it's that in that sense, and it's I think you're right. It's much easier to convey a message when someone's in a good mood and open to hearing it.
Yeah, I mean, look at advertisements. The advertisements we remember are the ones that made us laugh.
Yeah.
Those are generally the ones because that message sticks in because it brought out an emotion which wasn't a dull, I'm switching off emotion. It brought out, and that's, I do a thing about not clicking on, phishing links and what have you, which can be done just straight, and people go, oh, yeah, I've heard this many times. Or I do it in a funny way, and they go, oh, okay, and then from that, they remember not to do it and remember the emotion they got from it. So I think it works really well. Well, I'm glad it works well because that's 80% of my income at the moment. So long should it continue to work well.
And I think you're right because in our industry, especially cyber tech, it's always doom and gloom, isn't it? The world's falling in. If you click that, you're going to lose your house. Don't mean to bang on about it. If you're going to lose your house, you're going to.
Remember when that happened to you?
Yeah. I'd forgotten for a moment, but it's come back now. Thanks for that.
But that
1998.
Yeah. Let's keep bringing it back.
Yeah. It's a gift that keeps on giving. 3 times it went up in value. 3 times.
Lovely. It remind me why you've invited me along.
Shits and giggles.
Okay.
Shits and giggles.
I know which part I am.
Oh dear me. But I think that levity and attaching a happy emotion to something is. Look, it's not rocket surgery, right? It isn't. Mix your metaphors. But it makes somebody sit up and you engage them straight away. You're right, they'll go, oh, yeah, okay, I'm going to remember. And as long as they remember it for that joke you told them or that stupid video they may have seen me do or, or when Manny was on Live at the Apollo, he doesn't like to talk about it. That thing.
I never saw it.
That's the important bit about it, I think.
Season 16, episode 1. I don't really like to...
Really?
I don't really like to... I closed the shop. I don't really like to go on about it, but it's there.
I've never been on Live at the Apollo. But I've not been on that. I've not been on Have I Got News For You or Mock the Week. But truthfully, that's out of choice. Not my choice, to be fair. But so, somebody else's choice.
I've not been on any of those either. No, but you have been nominated for a BAFTA, though, haven't you?
I was shortlisted for a BAFTA as director for the documentary I made on the subject of identity theft and wrote a book about it.
What was the book?
It's called Heard the One About Identity Theft. Thanks for asking. It's on my website, BennettArron.com or Amazon.
I can't get it off Amazon.
You can get it off Amazon.
2 N's, 2 T's, 2 R's?
Amazon? No. AMAZON.
Right. I knew a Liverpool comprehensive education will come back to bite me in the arse. Tell the bit about during that documentary, because this is the bit I love when you were in a shopping centre in Swansea. The bit where you're asking for people's details is brilliant.
Well, so this is the thing that I set up in a shopping centre. I said to people, I can stop you from having your identity stolen if you give me all your personal details. And I had a queue of people giving me their passwords, their mother's maiden name, their bank account details, the 3 numbers at the back of their cards, their PINs, absolutely everything. A queue of people as I'm setting up the stall. And they gave me absolutely everything. And the best bit, I couldn't get it on film, unfortunately. He wouldn't sign the release form. But this one young guy gave me everything, right? Absolutely, all his numbers, everything. He then started to walk away, stopped, turned back and went, hang on, is this a scam? And I said, no. He went, oh, you got to check, and walked off. Brilliant.
That's brilliant.
Yes.
That is amazing.
Yeah, and it is. It's, yeah.
Have you ever thought of revisiting that, not the shopping centre, have you ever thought of revisiting that scam and doing it today, and what kind of...
Well, it's interesting. I have done a similar thing. So I was on a TV programme, not Live at the Apollo. Have you done... You should do that. I think you'd fit in.
I haven't had to go on about it. It's, 'cause I'm really humble.
Yeah.
Super modest, super humble. It's weird because I'm exceptionally talented, but... No, I'd just like to,
No, I understand.
Keep my feet on the ground. I don't really like to talk about it too much.
But I did a lesser TV program. But prior to doing it, they asked me if I would just do a survey with the audience that were coming in and chat to them. And they didn't know who I was, obviously, because I'm not famous and I haven't done Live at the Apollo. So I had to... and one of the things was, do you think you'd fall for a scam? And then they take no. And then there's all these questions going, password-wise, which of these would you use as a password? And what is your password? And the number of people that wrote it down, because that was the mindset that I'd managed to get them in through that. And then when I started doing the program, I went, look what you've all written. And they were so shocked that they had done that.
Wow.
Yeah. So people still...
People do that they do that at work because we've got all this tech around us, but we're lazy. So how many times have you gone to somebody's office and people have got passwords on Post-its on the laptop that they're using, which then open up the passwords for everything that they've got.
Yeah.
And that's hilarious.
Yeah. Was that the password? Yeah. Exclamation mark.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
It was actually Love of the Apollos, isn't it? 16, episode 1.
What you did at that TV show, you're almost like the Welsh Derren Brown, aren't you?
Very, very similar.
Yeah.
I often wonder how Derren Brown manages to get so many TV programs. How does somebody who's able to manipulate... Right. Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. Yes, very, very, very similar.
So, on your chats around fraud and things like that, what type of companies come to you, and what are the types of things you're seeing with them, with the problems, with maybe, like you said, you need 5 or 10 minutes for the audience to warm up.
Yeah.
To kind of get in. Have you ever gone and done that chat and the audience is just nothing, tumbleweeds?
No, because I'm professional.
Right.
I've done well.
You'll get there.
I know. That's okay.
But 25 years later, you'll get a laugh.
I mean, time's running out for me, to be quite honest.
He's got 25 years.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, no.
All right, let's say.
If I last 25 minutes, I'm happy. doing the podcast, not anything.
Oh,
else.
I see. Right. Okay, I see what you mean. No, the toughest one I've ever had was a large company, which I won't name, and there was a table like this, and I walked in thinking I was going to be taken into an auditorium or something, and they said, okay, could you, and there were 6 guys sitting around the room, all in suits. They went, okay, could you stand at the end? So I said, okay. And they went, when you're ready. I went, what? They went, when you're ready. And I had to do my talk, my 45-minute talk, to these 6 guys who sat there like that, just staring. Just didn't smile, didn't say anything. And at the end I said, any questions? No. Thanks for coming. I went, okay. It's like a job interview. It was the weirdest thing. So that was tough. So I got nothing from those. But then,
You got paid, though?
I got paid
handsomely.
Thank you very much.
Swings and roundabouts.
Yeah.
Do you remember when you said, have you ever had one where no one laughed, and you said no, then told us a story about how no one laughed?
I'd forgotten about that one. Yeah, but I don't really count that. But then I've done, I was flown over to Australia for 4 days to be the opening keynote speaker at a big conference they had there, which was, fantastic. And that was from the offset, they got it.
Yeah.
So it's, I love doing it. I probably prefer doing the these talks about fraud and identity theft probably more than stand-up, I guess, because I can incorporate both and because it's a personal story. And I think it's really important that I get a chance to warn people about these things and let them know about these things, but do it in a humorous way.
It's the most important part of it, because you think with all the tech that we've got to stop people being able to access your data, to stop malicious content coming into your network, the part that you can't control is the human interaction part. And like we've so many times when we do things like physical penetration testing, where can we actually go into someone's office and physically take out data, or how do we get on the network? And I remember there was one company where we put some software onto a USB because we couldn't get through their firewalls. Software onto a USB that would grant us remote access. Put some masking tape on it and wrote payroll. Just dropped it outside the building, and it took about 15 minutes for some guy to pick it up and go, oh, I wonder what Margaret's on.
No way.
Plug it straight in, and then when he's done that, all he would have seen was like a flicker on his screen. But now, got access. And then he's gone, oh, this file's empty, just took it out and threw it away and didn't think anything of it. But you've just given us
That's mad.
full access to it.
Do you know, all I'm going to say to you is James Bond. No Idris Elba for the next one. That type of shit.
Yeah.
You are right in for the next James Bond, because you're on TV already. I know you don't like to talk about it.
I don't really.
You should talk about it.
I don't really go on about it too much. I'm on TV on Sunday. I don't really want to.
No,
Very modest.
I think we could take it in a different direction, man.
Cyber threats.
Yeah. And you remember Roger Moore?
Yeah.
When he used to have the quips afterwards, you could use some of his. Be really funny for a change.
If you did that with like a real realistic version. It's not James Bond in a car. There's some techie in his micro sat in an office. Saves the day.
Yeah.
That film's 8 minutes long. I'd watch it though.
Still better than the last James Bond film, to be honest.
Fair.
Yeah.
Oh dear me.
But it is very much an interesting thing when you go like humour within technology, because then you open up humour in the workplace. How many things have started off as a laugh and then actually turned into tech? I mean, there's so many different ways you can look at the subject.
One of my favourite bits in my talk is I ask if anybody's been arrested, and the amount. I think you've been there when I've done this.
I think you've been arrested.
I think you've been arrested. No. I said I think
he's. All of them.
I think he's been there when I've done the talk. Is what I think.
I have, and he did say, apart from you, Ian, who else in?
Well, they did all turn to Ian, which is weird. But I've had a really bizarre ones where one woman in a company said that she'd been around, and she was very high up in the company, and she put her hand up, went, I have, and everybody turned and looked, oh, no, I haven't. And I went, well, okay,
yeah.
You have, and what for? And she didn't want to tell me, but I said, I'm not carrying on until you tell me. And then she ended up telling me that she'd done some stripping thing or something, and the place just went silent.
I was about to say solicitation. I thought that's what it was.
Yeah, it was stripped. She was like out and got caught, stripped. The police got for indecent exposure, and left the company 2 weeks after. So I felt quite bad. But on the other hand,
it
wasn't
wasn't
my
life.
fault.
Don't feel bad.
Yeah, but on the other,
it was completely your fault.
But I didn't make her tell me. I asked her. I mean,
you kind of did. Do you remember that time you said, "I'm not continuing until you tell"? Do you remember that time you literally forced her to tell you?
Well,
and then she lost her.
She could have
lost
said
her job.
She could have said, "I'm not telling you," because
She could have lied. To be fair,
anything, anything.
Yeah.
So I don't read. I did feel bad for.
I would have lied and made something really like I got arrested for protesting the slaughter of animals.
Did you?
No.
I believe that completely.
You see?
Wow. Yeah, I would have gone with that. I really...
Right, but she told you the truth, but you did make her.
Well, I did make her carry on the story, but I didn't insist that she told me the truth, and I wouldn't have known otherwise. So I can't really be blamed.
For the next podcast, we're going to speak to the victim and get her perspective on how she feels it went.
I think she bought the house you were after.
Oh,
I mean, in a twist of fate.
Do you remember when you lost that house?
Yeah.
1998.
Yeah.
You saved up and...
Yeah, it was a bungalow, so in a way she was also topless. It's a bungalow joke.
dear me. You cannot understand in my mind how many bungalow jokes I'm going through just to respond to that right now.
Well, yeah. Good luck. I'll wait.
Have you got any tech-based jokes?
Have I got any tech-based jokes?
Just one.
Well,
One story. It's another bungalow joke. Just one.
You can't leave houses alone, can you?
I know. Sorry.
Oh dear. I told my tech-based joke. Well, it's more of a story about cyber.
Oh, that one.
Yeah. Have you got
is that
one?
a joke?
Yeah, that's how it works. You can use that one. Right, so, comedians, is that the worst term in the world? Here's one you can have.
Yeah.
You can. It's the worst term in the world.
You can use this joke. I've got a joke for you.
Yeah.
I'm not going to use it ever.
Yeah, you say that. I'm just going to look at your live at the Apollo thing and go, yeah, people gave him that.
With monotonous regularity, people come up and go, here's one for you. I'm thinking, no, not if I don't want to get cancelled. No, there's no way I can tell that joke.
Yeah.
Right. I still think you keep 50%, but okay.
Which 50%?
I'll tell you what, though, when people come and tell me jokes, when someone comes and tells me like a horribly offensive joke, it does make me think, you think I'm that person that will go and tell this.
Yeah.
Like, you think I'm as much as an arsehole as you.
Yeah.
And that upsets me a little bit.
Because you're a bigger arsehole than that?
Yeah, but they don't know that.
No, okay. Yeah, got it.
Don't just assume. That's the harsh part.
I remember once doing gigs, I won't say which country it was in, and before that I was with the other speakers, and somebody went, oh, here's a couple of jokes, and told a racist joke about two black guys, and then told an anti-Semitic joke. And
What were they?
well, the first one,
Strap in.
that was the first one, yeah. Anyway, so he told this, so everybody laughed, obviously, apart from me, and they were looking at me like, why was that? I then went on stage, did stuff about being Jewish and what have you, came off and went, I'm really sorry, I didn't realise you're Jewish. I understand why you didn't laugh at the anti-Semitic one, but why didn't you laugh at the other one? Honestly, it was like, wow, it's just unbelievable.
So you did say earlier on you flew to Australia, right?
It wasn't in Australia. I just suspect. I won't say which country, but it was, yeah, but... yeah, it's shocking what goes on. I don't know how I got onto that. I was just memory of doing a talk.
So this month is Cyber Security Awareness Month, which is your busiest time, I'd imagine.
Yeah, I love October. I did 2 talks yesterday, 3 last week. So I very much look forward to it every year. It's like Christmas.
What happens within this month?
For me personally, I go around to companies and speak to staff about cybersecurity and awareness, things like that, and I speak at events and conferences because a lot are happening. And also, quite interestingly, not for you, but for me, and I'm going to say it anyway, is that I make in-house cybersecurity videos in a humorous manner, which seem to go down very well.
So what kind of companies do you go and speak to? Because a lot of the time, I've seen so many, the companies I see doing this a lot are actually other tech companies that you think would already know about this.
Yeah, I do it for tech companies, but then I've also done it for the Royal Mail. I've done it right across the board, all different companies companies that hold data.
Right.
That's primarily it, so that staff are reminded that they hold people's personal
Customer
information.
bases.
Yeah. And how they have to be, not only wary of their own stuff, but how wary they have to be of not clicking on anything that can affect the company as well as their personal accounts. So that type of thing, which people don't realise.
I'll tell you one thing that's always made me laugh about cybersecurity, because we all will sit and preach about how taking people's details are wrong, stealing information is wrong, breaking into people's companies, hacking is wrong. Imagine if all the hackers went, do you know what? They're right. Let's stop. How much money would be lost if people stopped doing this?
If people stop...
If people stopped hacking, if people stopped taking people's information. So on one hand we go, yeah, stop doing it. But on the other hand we go, please don't, because I've got a mortgage to pay for. A mortgage is what you have when you actually get your house.
I don't get it. What do you mean?
When you actually get your house.
No, you've lost me now, mate. A mortgage. Is it like rent?
It's kind of.
Oh, okay.
It's like rent that you get to keep.
Wow.
Yeah.
That sounds great.
Yeah.
Can I have one?
No.
Okay. Yeah, I know what you mean. So maybe, in a way, I shouldn't do too good a job.
You don't want to do too good a job.
Oh, I never even thought of this. That's very good. I'm going to cut back a bit. And you go, and here's something you shouldn't do. Oh, you can.
No,
you can if you want to. Occasionally, just click. It'll be fine. You're right. I've made a huge mistake.
It's wisdom.
It
It
right
is
there.
wisdom that we're giving you on this podcast.
You need, it's like it's part of the industry. Like we say, don't do it, but at the same time, you need it as part of the.
It's a trillion dollar industry, isn't it, cyber? And
Yeah,
all the
and it's
all the
continuously growing. There's always a new piece of tech. There's always something, because it's something where it's always going to be evolving, because people that do sit on that side of the line are always going to be looking for a new way to infiltrate.
Yeah, I agree. It's some of the weird ways people try and train other people. Some of the stuff I've seen in the past. I saw a campaign about protecting passwords, right? And it had, you wouldn't share your underpants, so why share your passwords? Now that got me thinking. I used to be a footballer, right? Not once have I been in a dressing room and looked at somebody and gone, those kicks you got on are all right there, mate. Would you mind sharing them?
Yeah.
What pervert sharing
favourite thing
underpants?
is they had a meeting about that slogan, and that was decided with a group of people that all went, that, you've nailed it there.
Genius. No?
Take the afternoon off. You have crushed it.
Yeah, definitely underpants.
Which means there was. This is the question now. Because if that's what they landed on, there was others, and they said no. What were those others? You wouldn't share a condom. Even though technically you do. Because one goes, you go one and they
Oh
go,
yeah. Which end?
Explain that again.
But what kind of things went on that list?
Did they go through items of clothing? Like, did they start with T-shirts and go, that doesn't work? Shirts? No. Jumpers? No.
Shoes? No, you say shoes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Even if they're too small for you.
Have you ever lent somebody your underpants? I mean, have you ever shared your underwear?
See, I don't think so.
Right. Okay. Well, then it's a really bad analogy.
It's a terrible analogy.
It's terrible. Now. There's so many other things that you could have put that in.
Yeah.
But that it just makes me laugh.
Toothbrush. Toothbrush.
I was just thinking toothbrush.
You know.
Yeah, but you'd only share it with your significant other half, really, wouldn't you, when you consider what you get up to? I mean, I'm not casting any aspersions. I've seen the videos. But when you get up to whatever you get up to with your other half, you're okay sharing that type of stuff, but you wouldn't share your toothbrush with a complete stranger, would
I
you?
wouldn't share my toothbrush with anybody, regardless of... I mean, I once accidentally used my wife's toothbrush, and I was like, ugh. I mean, to be fair, I stuck it up my backside. But the... I feel we might have gone off topic.
How am I the nicest person on this panel? How? That's the question we're going to say for another podcast. How am I the nicest person on this?
Yeah. Probably shouldn't have said that.
It'll be fine. She won't listen to it.
Does she know?
Now, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Still. Passwords, eh?
Oh, dear me. The other thing I don't get about it is when we try and teach people not to click links. So we teach people not to click links by sending them links to click. And it doesn't quite compute in my head that. It's almost like your parents teaching you that the stove is hot just by burning the tip of your finger
But you
on the
learn.
stove.
You learn.
Well, you learn.
Yep.
You learn, but you got no feeling in the end of your finger then.
Well, then it's a reminder.
It is a reminder.
Yeah.
But you don't do it now. And that's the point, that when you start teaching people to click links or not to click links by sending them links, I'm just wondering what kind of trust is broken there with the wider staff. And I think, again, that's another case for humour. It's another case for humour because you're engaging everybody.
Yeah.
You're bringing them in to the conversation. You're making them feel trusted and part of the conversation instead of just sitting there trying to trick people.
Do you know what it is? I think when you do stuff publicly. So to give an example, have you ever seen? It's a very popular WhatsApp video that people send around, and it'll always be like, it'll be a fox it'll be just a random video. Then all of a sudden, it's the loudest sex noises.
Yeah.
I've never seen anyone not fumble their phone to turn it off. But now, anytime someone sends me some sort of video that I'm not sure of, my phone goes on mute, or I just won't open it because I'm not falling for that.
Yeah.
So but that whole public embarrassment has made me think I'm going to be more careful about the things that I open, or put my headphones on. But even with that, even though I've been done, I will send it to everyone.
But does
'Cause I
that
want them to
raise
know that.
does that raise a different question then? Because that's coming from either a trusted source, a friend, a person you know, or somebody within that
But
WhatsApp
that
group.
happens a lot of time in technology as well. It will come from a trusted source.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
So you think, how many times, how many bank scams are there on email where they've replicated the perfect website,
Yeah.
and you're, as far as you know, this is coming from a trusted source. So it could be the same thing, and now you can hack phones, you can hack you can hack what you want.
But I think there's a slight difference between somebody who you may think you know as a person, as an individual that you have a relationship with, and an organisation. And I think here's where organisations get the equation of awareness wrong. So an organisation likes to think that they're your friends, that you're part of their ecosystem, that they want you to be part of their family or whatever it is.
Yeah.
In reality, they couldn't give a shit about you as an individual. As soon as times go bad, they'll happily make you redundant or lay you off or things like that. So when they want people to be their last line of defence or whatever they're going to call it, they're almost getting it wrong. They're almost trying to say, you're here to protect the business, so here's a bunch of stuff to protect the business. Instead of saying, actually, what we're going to do is help you protect yourself. And if we help you protect yourself, we've got half a chance of you being a bit more savvy. And that comes back to that point, right?
Yeah.
Because I turn the volume down on all my WhatsApp messages now because of what you sent me last week.
My phone's constantly on mute.
Can I see it?
And that is all the time we have on today's episode.
Just remains to thank our guest, Bennett Arron. Thank you.
Thank you for having me. It's just a shame the real Bennett Arron couldn't have been here.